You're listening to the BTEC PE podcast with Mr. B. This is the BTEC PE podcast. Today we're going to be starting to talk about the fitness tests you need to know for BTEC PE. Now, as always, all these fitness tests are on my YouTube channel. Hopefully you've actually completed them yourselves, so you should be already aware of how to conduct each test, any equipment that is needed, how you actually measure and record accurately, and lastly, what the actual test is trying to assess. You should also be aware that once you've completed the test, you need to then compare your results to the results tables to assess whether you're actually making progress or not. And this then should lead into what improvements you need to make when you are designing your training program and selecting the training methods. So specifically, you're going to look at aerobic endurance tests today. So you should be fully aware of what the multi-stage fitness test and forestry step tests are. So they're both tests of aerobic endurance, and they do this by giving you an estimation of maximum oxygen uptake, or what is known as VO2 max. So VO2 max is the maximum amount of oxygen an athlete can use effectively. Now, both these tests are extremely practical. They don't require a lot of specialist or expensive equipment, and the benefit is you can test a large number of participants at a time. So you could test a whole class at one time or a whole sports team at a time. Now, in the multi-stage fitness test, participants run intervals of 20 meters in time to the bleeps. In order for this to be a reliable test, the interval needs to be accurately measured, and the validity of the test is questionable when testing swimmers, rowers or cyclists, as they will possess good aerobic endurance but may not have good running technique. Now, you need to make sure the test subjects reach the line on the bleep, not before or after the bleep. As they progress through the test, they will have to increase their pace as the bleeps will get closer together, and therefore they will have less time to run the intervals. Participants' scores will be the last completed level and shuttle before dropping out of the test, and they will use this score to find the prediction of VO2 max using a comparison table. So hopefully you've completed the test and you've actually found your VO2 max using the comparison table. Make sure you know how to read the comparison tables and you've got one in your notes. Moving on to the forestry step test. Again, it also gives a prediction of VO2 max. So what happens in this test is participants will step up in time with a cadence of 90 beats per minute for a total time of 5 minutes. You've got a slightly different height of benches for males compared to females. So a male will use a bench with a height of 40 centimeters, while females will use a bench of 33 centimeters. So what happens at the end of the 5 minutes, the participants should stop, find their pulse and count beats for 15 seconds, then use the conversion table to find the prediction of VO2 max. Again, similarly to the multi-stage fitness test, you should have the comparison table, the conversion table for both forestry step test and multi-stage fitness test. So make sure you actually go and use them and you're familiar with those tables. So that gives you a quick summary of the aerobic endurance fitness tests. So you need to be familiar with these tests. You should have hopefully completed these tests yourselves. Make sure you check out my YouTube video on the aerobic endurance fitness tests. I've got a separate one for the forestry step test compared to the multi-stage fitness tests. Make sure you're following me on social media and catch me next time for some more fitness tests for BTEC PE.